Do you know you have 30 minutes, Allie? Do you know you have 30 minutes?
Oh, yeah. We're filling out like a baby registry today.
Ooh.
And it was kind of like quirky stuff. It felt very like Austin. Like it was like, you are 30 weeks pregnant. Today, your baby is the size of a Warito soda bottle. And I was like, okay, Tex-Mex. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of like,
great.
Yeah.
Wait, the baby registry, like things for the baby, you mean?
So yeah, we're doing like kind of like a baby shower kind of thing, but we've just inherited most of the stuff that we need or already found it like used.
Yeah,
so we have like a crib, a car seat, and a stroller all bought from really rich people on Facebook Marketplace.
Hell yeah.
They're so sick.
Yeah.
And then we've just like a bunch of people have given us essentially everything else that we need, which is so cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so some people have like been like, we might want to have another kid. Can we get that back? So Frankie has this like detailed spreadsheet that's like, this is on loan. This was given to us. We still need this. These are links, you know. So I'm trying to put together like a registry that'll be pretty small.
But just like of the rest of the stuff that you
But just the rest of the like, and we just want to have like different price points and maybe even have something like dog walking. So that's the dream right now.
Oh, that's amazing. Is Frankie more type A than you? No,
she's kind of crazy, you know. She's like not on top of shit, and I kind of hold us together.
Can you shut the fuck up? I thought you were being dead ass, and I was like, hand over mouth, like really scared. Like, Allie, I love you for so many things, but like type A is organization is not one of them.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, yeah, she is a little bit more type A for sure. She's still kooky in her own way, you know.
We all are.
She is a lot more. The way that she deals with anxiety is like, I'm going to be a mile ahead of this.
That's,
kind of thing. And I'm like, that's
me
great.
Too.
I put my head into the sand. And I go, when I pop back up, maybe everything will be different.
Totally. That is such a real way. Like, it's like how you cope with things. And like, I similarly am like, I'm going to get so ahead of this with planning that like, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh my God, totally.
I've learned that there's this thing, it's like type C. And I think I'm type C.
Wait, what?
So it's... Because like there's type A, which is like so organized, like whatever. There's type B, which is like all over the place, not organized. And then type C is kind of like a combination of them, which I think is just like kind of anxious people with ADHD, where it's like the way that I do things is not like deeply organized, but because like my anxiety is fueling me, like I am going to be on top of it. Like I'm going to do all this stuff, but it's just going to happen in like very random and sporadic ways. And so I really identify with that because I never identified with type A or type B because I'm like, I'm going to get this stuff done. Like that's me. But like my desktop, like on my laptop is just like insane. And
totally.
Like,
and I did lose my phone last night.
Exactly.
Totally.
Exactly. Like I can't find anything that I need right now, but like it'll get done. I felt so seen in this interview, like in a very specific way. And I think maybe it's because kind of like Ericka and Ebony are maybe like both educators, but like it is funny, you know, sometimes I really get into like, I don't know about you, but I really get into like interviewer mode where like I'm just like asking my questions. And like, I think this is one of the first interviews where they like, started asking us stuff back and they were like,
happening this season.
That's what happening this season.
Yes,
and
totally.
it's been very fun. But like when they were asking, like, you know, I think the question was like, are we kind of more like relationship people or not? And like, I think I aligned a little bit more with Ebony. I think you aligned a little more with Ericka, where it's like you knew you wanted kids or whatever. And so it was nice to like talk to folks who are like, so I'm literally just like, they're just the best people. They were so great. And I think also like such good interviewees, but also like so good at seeing like us. Like I walked away from feeling like so seen and also feeling like, like Ebony was like me. Like Ebony wasn't a big relationship person and now they're like having a baby. Like maybe that could be me. Like, you know, like it felt, and like, I don't know if you felt that in terms of like baby stuff for you with like Ericka, but.
Definitely. Yeah. It's interesting that you point out that they're educators because there is something that happens there where it's like you can be a critical thinker and also be really warm and open.
Exactly.
And I think that's the educator mix.
Yes.
Is it's like, no, we're being really critical. We're going in on all of this. Like, we're really thinking through the implications
just
of
like
things.
so warm.
Yeah.
And, like, oh.
There's no like hard-edged point or there's no like identity in the idea of being like, I am pro-kids, I am anti-kids.
Exactly.
It's just like, this is what happened to us. And we just kind of like...
And we're happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
That helps you understand yourself a little bit better.
Hi, everybody. How y'all doing out there? My name is Ebony Donnelly. I use he, him pronouns. I'm from DP Oakland, California. And I am now living in East Orange, New Jersey. So I keep it east side in every single thing that I do. You feel me? Straight up. And what else should I say?
You're a pop.
I am a father.
Yeah.
Yes, I am a father. I have a child. I have a child. Yes, I'm not with child, but I have a child. And they are 2 years old.
He just means that he's in daycare. That's all that means.
Yes.
I'm with child.
Expeditiously in daycare. I'm very excited. And I'm very happy about that at this current moment. I love
2
my-
years old.
2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So all those cliches about the terrible twos, they are true.
It's true.
Really?
Very true.
And I'm a DJ and I'm an audio engineer and I write.
Yes.
And,
Oh, amazing.
you know, y'all can find me in doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yes. My name's Ericka. My pronouns are she and they. I'm from the suburbs of Maryland, actually where Tony Braxton is from. Yay!
Oh, okay.
And I lived in Puerto Rico for like 20 years as well. I kind of bop around, and now I live with Ebony Donnelly and our first child and our second non-human child or only non-human child, Babette. In New Jersey. We left New York with a lot of folks, so kind of like a mass exodus of people who essentially been, I would say, non-consensually pushed out. We left because we thought that it would be better for us, quality of life, to leave. But I think I feel a push and pull about New York and a love for New York that we miss. So I would say that we are in the process of grieving as we have moved recently. And what else? I'm a sex educator. I've been teaching sex ed for the past 14 years. I talk about sex ed from the intersections of systems of oppression and essentially how we cannot have pleasure without addressing how systems directly impact our access to it.
Awesome.
Cool. How did you two meet?
Tinder.
Me too with my partner.
Wow.
Tinder was booming. in
Tinder needs to
2016.
sponsor y'all. Tinder was booming.
Oh, that's so cute.
We were talking a bunch, and I think for like a week, right?
No, it wasn't a week.
It wasn't a
like
week.
2 or 3
3 days. It was 3 days. I tried to extend my sluttiness, but no, it was 2 days. And I said, I have a play party to do a workshop at, and I was at the play party, and people were literally having sex around me, and I was messaging him, and I said, I'm finished. I'm excited for our date or something. He was like, "Oh, how was the play?" And I was like, "It's not a play."
How was Sweeney Todd?
It's not.
I was not as vanilla as you might think. Yes, that's the quick and dirty version. I was engineering a festival called Hoodstock in North Philly. Shout out to the niggas over there, Life Deep Grove Farms. And then a whole bunch of my friends was like, let's go to New York, because one of my partners lived in Brooklyn at the time. And they was like, y'all could just stay with us. So it's like 10 or 15 people, 2 to the head, 2 at the head, 2 at the feet, as they say. We all, cohabitate and sleep in the same bed. It was just very New York in 2016. New York in 2016, Brooklyn especially in 2016, it was just a different era. It's a bygone era that was just so sweet. And I miss it very much so. However, so hanging out, chilling, going to all the spots, many of which don't even exist no more. I hop on Tinder as I'm going through I'm the, what was that bus called, babe?
Bus. Oh, Megabus.
The mega bus from, I went from DC, then I went to Philly, and then from Philly to New York on the mega bus, and then hit the Holland Tunnel, put the app on, and it just was booming. I didn't meet Ericka until like maybe 2 or 3 days after I got to New York. But after that, we had a date in Williamsburg at where the Domino Sugar Factory is. It was called North Berkeley Farms. That's also gone now, actually. And there's high-rise apartments in its place. But that's where we met on the Hudson, actually on the East River. Oddly enough, we had our first date on the East River.
So much East. I didn't think about that. Our kid's name is East.
Wow.
First date on the East River. The East River, that's it.
That's not the East River, Eb. That's
That
the
is the
Hudson.
East River. No, that's not, babe. That's the East River. Look it up.
Right, Lower East
That's the East.
Side.
That show is. That's the East
Oh
River.
my God.
Yes.
That's cute.
Living on the East River.
Right on the East River. And then 6 years later, 6 years later, we had a child. So that's a quick and dirty way.
That's the quick and dirty. How we met.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
One of our previous guests, Bay Davis,
I love
she
Bay.
was like, I love Bay
Yeah.
too. Bay was like, I love a bitch from the East, like East wherever, like that's
Yeah.
like anywhere. I love a bitch from the
wherever.
East. And I was like,
Could you tell
exactly.
them to do a shirt East wherever?
Yeah, exactly. East wherever.
East wherever like that.
My dad used to say all the girls in East Baltimore were the most attractive, and that's where my mom is from.
Oh, cute.
Erica's dad is a
He's a slut.
That all fell from the tree.
I'm dead.
I don't think he just dated my mom from East Baltimore.
He did some research.
That's so. Could you guys take us through how you kind of have come to embody your current gender identity, and what has been your journey to understanding yourself and your gender outside of like colonial terms?
Oh my God, that's such a big question.
It's a huge question.
Hello,
Whenever we
chapter
ask
in my
it, right?
Oh my Lord. I don't think that I've arrived anywhere. I think that it's a constant exploration and looking for ways to affirm myself and to heal the traumas that tried to convince me that I needed to be one particular way. And I think that's most of the work that I do on myself and with other people is a lot of healing around being convinced that we needed to be or look a particular way. And I think on the other side of that is so much freedom. And I think you feel very vulnerable to that freedom sometimes too. So what then do you do with the space? And not try to fill it up with all the same colonial constructs that might look queer, that might be called queer, but really is just a replica of the same nonsense. So really trying to undo, but I think a big part of my gender exploration is falling in love with my Blackness and honoring the Black femmes in my life and Black ancestors, especially my grand who was a Black woman who came to this country. Well, she didn't come to this country non-consensually, but her parents came to this country non-consensually and was raised in South Carolina, likely on a tobacco farm. She chewed tobacco. She moved to Baltimore in the early 1900s and had a garden. Yeah, a rose garden. Her first name is actually Rose. And she just was badass. Like I have the washing board in my kitchen and it makes me think of my it's not hers, but it's a washing board, but it makes me think of my grand because when I would go to her house, she had an actual washing board next to her washing machine. And she wouldn't use the washing machine. She would use the board because that's what she was used to doing.
Yeah.
And she just was just a beautiful human being, beautiful spirit. And I hesitate even saying that she was a Black woman because I don't know. I don't know my grand's gender. And I think I would have loved to have been able to ask her that rather than assume or what other people likely assumed about her and who she was. But I think, I don't know, black femmes they just transgress all of these notions, right, from the West. That we weren't created in the design anyway, right? So there's of the gender binary. So there's a constant push up against that structure anyway. But I wonder if my grand ever had the space or ever vocalized how she felt about her gender. I would have loved to know. But being closer to my blackness has greatly informed me as a non-binary queer person. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
That was beautiful.
Grand also taught your dad how to fish.
Yeah.
I know this because Ericka dad, he be telling us all the same stories.
Yeah.
Wow.
10, 15 times over. But yes, this who taught him. He went fishing for the first time.
Yeah.
Somewhere. It wasn't South Carolina. Off the Chesapeake. Yes, that's where they used to go fishing at. So, sorry if I'm adding into your answer.
No, that's fine. I'll add into yours.
No. I don't think that I had the benefit of knowing my gender in colonial terms, really. I feel like I think that's a unintended consequence or byproduct of having been born in the hood and been born, poor, essentially. Is that gender, all these sort of markers, man, woman, none of those things are super fixed. It's aspirational. So you spend a lot of your time trying to fit into those modes of what it means to be a woman or what it means to be a man. And none of it is really made for you. You're not, it's, especially for Black women in the hood, it's hard to be a woman, like Ericka is saying, if womanhood was, or the binary conception of womanhood meant white woman. And all the ways that you would describe a white woman, you would never use those terms or those markers, even those stereotypes to define a Black woman, especially when you talk about a Black woman from a place like Oakland or Deep East Oakland, something like that. So for me, growing up and having experienced Black girlhood as a AFAT person, I've never felt as though and I also grew up in a very monoracial, almost not homogenous, but for much of my life, I didn't have much exposure to white people until I turned maybe 5 years old, not to kindergarten. But my first 5 years of my life, I'm spent around just really exclusively Black people for the most part. And then once I entered elementary, middle school, then we have a huge population of Polynesian people, Tongan people, Cambodian people, and so Babette from living in Oakland, Latinx people, etc. So I think I was allowed a lot of freedom as a child, without my mom having any language around the gender binary or anything of that nature. I was very much so allowed to just be kind of who I wanted to be. They would call me a tomboy, but I never really felt that way. I've kind of always known that I was transgender without having the language to know that, but I've always known. I just remember a long time ago when I was a child, early childhood memory I have is I was maybe like 4 years old and I went into the kitchen and I stood up to pee and I peed in the middle of the floor. My cousin was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I just was like, "I don't know. Like, I'm just peeing and I'm peeing standing up and I'm in the kitchen standing up." So just a little shit, which I don't pee standing up. I sit on the toilet now because it's so
For 10 years.
yeah, so I sit on the toilet in the men's bathroom right on the toilet. Or any bathroom. I go to the women's bathroom. I go whatever bathroom I want to go to. I don't care. Legislation's not going to change. But I'll go whatever motherfucking bathroom I choose. Whichever one is emptiest.
Right.
So I don't know. I never felt a colonial impulse to be a woman or to aspire to white womanness. I feel like my family very much so celebrated Blackness in a way that, to Ericka's point, it almost encompassed gender. It encompassed, like, I didn't grow up feeling, a woman looks one way or a man looks one way. Also, growing up in Oakland, we are a bubble, so we do have the benefit. I'm growing up and everybody is studs. I'm seeing studs 2-3 years old. It's my granny best friend is a stud. growing up, they like, oh, Eloise, woo, woo, saying that she was gay maybe, but it was never no thing.
Best friend.
That was my granny best friend. I don't know what is of the relationship. All I know is that was my granny. So my granny is cisgender, heterosexual from what she has said. Yes, but growing up with the Love Center Church, which is a LGBTQ, very LGBTQ friendly church in East Oakland and on 107 and International, and it's where the famous sort of musical dynasty, the Hawkins family, who wrote "Oh Happy Day" and so many other gospel standards now at this point. That was their church. So my mom was growing up. When I first came out to my mom, when I met Ericka, because Ericka's whole thing was, oh, I don't want to, you feel me? I don't want to date nobody who in the closet. That's what she said. Which I was never in didn't have the benefit of no closet.
Right.
Like, you could never look at me and be like, that person is straight.
Yeah.
Even when I did, regardless of how I identify, nobody, I was, as a young person, 9 years old, and people ask me, are you a girl or a boy? So that's always been my experience of, like, even as I tried my best to identify with the gender that people, as my sex assigned at birth, because that's all I knew. I was only doing that to conform with convention, not necessarily because I believed being a woman looked a particular way or that I needed to be one. I didn't know the importance of being one. I'm just like everybody else is saying, I'm a girl, so I'm a girl. I'm just a girl that looked this way and does these things.
Right.
So I felt very freeing in that regard, but when I came out to my mom was like, who ain't been with a woman? Didn't expect her to say that. But I also had to come out till I was, 26 at that point, because I never really felt like I had to. And then when I came out to her as trans, she was like, you act like we can't see the forest from the trees. My mom talks in little black sayings.
Little riddles.
She just talks in a whole riddle. So she's saying something. She was just like, I already knew. We already knew. So what did she know about transness and gender that I wasn't clued into? What was the language and the sort of knowledge systems around gender that already existed in my family or in Oakland or in the hood that is not necessarily authenticated by the academy, but nonetheless produce, somebody who's like, yes, I'm a Black trans person. And I always have been. So that's a great question. I'm going to meditate on that more. So,
That's beautiful. It's like kind of like a quiet as it's kept thing, but like it doesn't sound like there was any shame either. It was just like, oh yeah, okay, that's fine. Like we knew that.
No.
Like sometimes I feel kind of sad. I mean, we've been talking about this so much with education, but like I'm so grateful my parents gave me this private school education. But I think I actually would have been more protected if I had it, right? Because that's where I learned those like conceptions of like whiteness and what a girl is and what a boy is. But like there's actually something really protective of not having to be exposed to that in a certain kind of way, right? So like,
yes,
that's really beautiful. Like
Thank you.
The way you described that.
And it was, of course, gender is still reinforced in the hood,
right?
Because again, people in the hood are also trying to be like white people. They just don't think they're trying to be.
Right.
You want hella money. Why? Why do you think you want money? Because you see people in the hills with money.
Right.
They have and you see what they have access to. And you see that they live, quote unquote, better than we live. And the hood is a site of flight. It's something to get out of, something to, leave rather than to live in and to contribute to. The hood is the narrative. I want to get out of it. So my mom would say shit like, you need to wear a purse. She was a girl, whoop, whoop, and it's just laughable. It wasn't even like, it's like she's saying these things, but I'm not seeing from her even how she's embodying all of the things. I'm like, you're not performing it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at them and to Ericka's point, their performance of gender and being like, there's some gender queer type of shit going on up in here.
Right.
Without knowing it.
Do either of you have any rituals or like traditions that keep you connected to your body?
Oh, I love that question. I love my magic wand as a ritual, connection to clit, but also the rest of my body.
Connection from
I would say,
On the clip pipeline. On the clip.
listen, in this thesis, I will.
Right.
I love my plants as a body ritual. That might sound strange, but it's a reminder to be still, but also to pour into myself. And I have a little trick with all of my plants. I ignore them. So, and I obviously I notice them and admire them, but I don't neglect them. No, it's like people pay too much attention to their plants and they kill them.
Oh, like helicopter.
Yeah. So it's like you really have to let your plants be. And I think that's such a excellent reminder for the Sagittarius, hyper independent, anxious, non-binary Black femme that you're speaking to, because I love control. And when I say I love control, it's like I feel like, can I have just 1 second of control? And my therapist reminds me all the time, like, you don't control nothing. Right. And of course, right, joke's on me, but we've convinced ourselves that we could have some level of control somewhere. Not even with these plants do I have any control. Right. So it's like the reminder is like, you don't have no control over you. You don't have no control over these plants. And really, you need to pay attention. Leave it alone. Pay attention enough to when they need water, they'll let you know when they need water. When their light needs to be adjusted, they'll let you know when their light needs to be adjusted. But you have to get what you need too, right? What
And leave yourself alone.
Leave myself.
Right.
And that's the whole point.
And know when you
To
need
pay
some water.
attention.
When you need light.
But when you're
Okay?
constantly trying to control and fix and change and it's no space for your body at all. So I would say my plants, and then also I love oils, like shower oils, obsessed. So take a really long hot shower and then douse yourself in shower oil and follow up with some body butter. I love that. And then get in a bed that has clean sheets. Oh,
Yeah.
sex is good, but have you ever done that?
Right.
Holy hell. I love that. Or like
my
I
God,
get into a
totally.
hotel bed. Oh, even
Oh God.
better.
The best.
Fuck my bed. Take me to a hotel.
I live in my head a lot. I have a rich inner life, so I need to get out my head more. I do. I need to be in my body more. I can't say that I'm totally in it, but I have moments where if I'm playing my bass or if I'm listening, as you know, listening to music, listening to records, just the tactile nature of that whole experience. You can't just press play. You got to go, get up, find the record, dust it off, clean it off, put it on the damn platter, get the needle together. Yeah, there's just so many steps. So you kind of have to be in your body when you play records. You have to be. So I think listening to music, listen to my records is one way that I do. It's definitely a ritual that I have. For
I
sure.
love that.
That's awesome.
And you have to slow down, you know.
You
You
got
have to
about it.
slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
You have to.
weightlifting too.
Ooh, yeah.
Weightlifting
Totally.
feels good. And it annoys me when people say they enjoy working out, but it's true. I do like weightlifting. I do.
Yeah.
It feels like something I'm not supposed to be doing, if that makes any sense.
Yes. Yes.
It's like weightlifting always feels like this like sectioned off space, and that's very gendered as well. And all the like femme assumed folks are supposed to be on the cardio stuff, and then all the
yeah.
are on the
Right.
So whenever I go there, I'm like, yeah, I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
Totally. I honestly feel like people go to the gym to dissociate, like the kind of real gym people. I'm like, they throw EDM in their headphones,
Yeah.
pretend they're like, at a club and just dissociate for an hour. And I love a more embodied.
Yes,
I'm really trying to pay more
too.
attention to my feet lately. I feel like that's been helping me embody a lot. And like with weightlifting, it's a lot of like specific feet placement
Yes.
or whatever. And
Yes.
that's been kind of cool.
Even being barefoot, you're not barefoot, but like socks, you're supposed to be
Totally.
weightlifting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
listen to podcasts when I work out. I don't even listen to
She
music.
did.
Yeah.
She did.
yeah.
That's so
Wow.
funny.
Yeah. I'm like listening to like, oh yeah, the connections between white supremacy and tariffs and like,
you're like-
and I'm like,
And you're just like,
I love that.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm just really curious about your experience having a kid.
Allie's partner is pregnant, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
How far along are they?
So she is giving birth in July.
Oh,
and
so
we
soon.
Okay.
It's so
literally tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
As it gets hot out, I'm like having a full panic because in my mind I've been like, it's the summer when that happens.
Yeah.
And now it's like super hot, and I'm like, oh my God, it's today.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
When did you know that you wanted kids?
You want me to go first?
Mhm.
I think there's two answers to that question. I think there's the answer called I was conditioned to believe that I wanted kids. And 24, and when I was 12, I had a journal entry that was like, I will have 2 kids by the time I'm 24 and be married. So that's definitely conditioning, right? Like I'm just writing based on what I see. I knew my mom was 24 when she had me. So it's like I just mimicking. Right? Disney did a number on us. And then right before I was diagnosed with breast cancer, actually, I wanted to get pregnant. And I was 28. We were in talks. I was formerly married to a woman many moons ago. Anyway, and we were talking about having kids, and I was like, this is something that I want to do. And I will say honestly, even when I was 28 and I said, okay, this is something I want to do, I still don't think that I was clear that that was something that I wanted to do. I still think that it was that conditioning that, oh my goodness, I'm 28, I'm about to be 30, hurry up, I need to have a baby. I don't think it was very thought out at all. And then when I finished chemotherapy, was a divorce, and I met Ebony on our first date. I was like, when do you want to have kids? He was like, I don't know if I want to have kids. He was like, when do you want to have kids? And I'm like, tomorrow. Like
Tomorrow.
And she told me, oh yeah, but I could just like raise them by myself.
I literally told him,
I'm like, I did not know you like that.
and my friends were like, Ericka, you just met him. Like you don't need to make the decision now that you're gonna raise kids by yourself. And also, how's that gonna work? So again, I literally was in this fantasy of having a kid. And let's be honest, I was in having a baby. Right? I wasn't at that they become toddlers and that they grow up to be teenagers.
Right.
Like it was an obsession
The
around
lifelong commitment.
the baby.
Totally.
Right? It wasn't the lifelong commitment piece. So Ebony, honestly, because Ebony was on the fence, he actually is the reason why I had to sit with why I really want to do this, right? And to actually provide space for, do you understand what you are about to commit to and how life is about to shift dramatically? There was still so much that I had to learn and understand. And I'm so grateful that I had my first kid, not at 24, but at, how old was I? 36.
36.
Yeah. I'm so grateful.
That's how old you are, Allie, right?
Yeah.
Are you 36?
I'm 36. Yeah. And I just recently went off T to maybe try to get pregnant within the next year or two or something like that and try to carry. But yeah, I actually had, my partner reminded me recently, I also came in that hot. I was like really obsessed with the year of the water tiger. And I was like, I'm going to have a baby. It was 2022 and was like, I'll raise it myself. It'll be raised by me and all my friends. My partner was like, that's so cool. Cool fantasy. You know, like,
Cool. And it's so, I mean, this made me jump in the gun, but knowing what I know now, that is so ridiculous. It's just
so me and all my friends.
me and all my friends.
What?
What friends?
What?
What friends? What friends? Who? Who? The ones that also have kids, or the ones that are trying to be in the street turned up? Like, what?
Totally.
Writing
Unreal.
articles in the cut.
Unreal. Like,
Look,
about how
my
they.
friends don't want to be, but I don't like my friends and kids no more. Yeah.
I read that. Oh my gosh. I have so many thoughts about
I
like
have
supposedly
lots
the
of
birth rate that we need for replacement is 2%. And U.S.
are we
birth
at?
rates are down. We're at 1.6, historic low. But I'm also curious about like what part of me was perfectly conditioned by Disney to be this like nationalist. This is how many kids we need to keep.
Yeah.
The population, the American population up
Right.
or whatever. Yeah.
Well, you know what they mean when they say American population.
Oh, well, white American. Yeah, totally.
They mean the whites are who we need all white people to have kids. But see,
Right.
that's not what
Totally.
they're saying. They want only certain white people. They don't want white, queer, and trans people to have
No.
kids, and they don't want the white, queer, and trans youth and babies. They don't want them. They only want a certain. So even this whole, I really care about pro-life, or I really care about the declining marriage and birth rates. It's like, no, you don't.
No.
You are
For
the
who?
little
Yeah.
right. You just want more people that you can control. You just
Yeah.
want to
Totally.
whatever. It could be a damn dinosaur. If you could control it, you control it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
We need more dinosaurs.
We need more dinosaurs.
fact.
Whatever clone, whatever I can replicate into I want more of myself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want a diversity of different human beings.
No.
I want more of myself.
I can't categorize that.
Right.
Totally.
More different families, relationship configurations.
Right.
I'm all for people if they
Blended
want to have
families.
a child. Blended families are just like, hey, I want to just have a baby by myself. You know,
Right.
could you still be my partner?
Yeah.
I wasn't with that. Me personally, I couldn't do that. However, if somebody else could, I support that. It just at the time I met Ericka, I was like, I don't know, understand what you're saying, but I like you a lot. And you look good, and I want to keep doing. So I just ignore. I'm bad at that. I need to work. I was just like, was that a red flag thing?
You said, anyways, moving on.
Again, I have really worked on control because I guess I was like the alt right because I was like, you will have a baby.
It's so funny.
And 4 years, so it was a lot. It was
a push and pull.
Mhm.
It was a push and
It was
pull.
contentious. It was a contentious conversation.
So Ebony, you were on the fence.
Oh no, yeah, I never wanted to have no kids.
Wow.
Or rather, I never foresaw myself as having kids, and it's so funny because I love children.
He
I love
is a baby
kids.
magnet. Like anywhere we go, there is a baby smiling at him, going like this. Like it's like they see the kid, like the little kid in him. Like it's fascinating.
I just love kids, and I'm the youngest of 3, and I have a large extended family, so it's just always us kids around each other and doing so. So I love children. I just never really was like, I want that for myself. I don't think I thought that far ahead in life, where it's like, oh, what would this look like? It just felt like I don't foresee myself getting married. I don't foresee myself being in a long-term relationship. I don't foresee myself having a house, not because of a deficiency or saying it self-deprecatingly. It's just like, I don't really care about that.
No,
like,
that's exactly how I feel too.
I don't care. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
interested in that as to like, and you too, Alan, like the answer to the question for y'all too, because for me, it was just like, I have other concerns in life that feel like more of a priority to me
Yes.
than my future life. Like, I feel like I'm just trying to live, survive day to day. I can't be worried about kids that ain't here, marriages that ain't here, partners that ain't here. I'm living for today.
I feel like we're kind of like parallel to you guys. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Allie. But I mean, Eb, I feel exactly how you were describing yourself of just like, I'm just living in the now, and I don't necessarily see myself. I feel like the times I've been the most happy haven't really been in a romantic relationship. It's actually been with best friends. Like I have a roommate who I love and is like one of my people. And like,
I love that.
I don't really see that for me. I'm open to it. And then I just feel like there's slightly more, I don't want to say more pressing, but like for me, like my big thing is like I'm an only child and my parents are a bit older. So I'm like, I need to take care of my parents. Like those are my kids, like
Yes.
that's like what that is. So
that.
That's me.
yeah, I don't see it for myself, but I'm young. Life could go in a different direction.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm open.
totally.
I'm open to it. Yeah. What about you, Allie?
I do feel like there's like some myth busting that our generation has done, like around like owning a house or some of these kind of tent pole moments that we've all just been kind of like, that's not realistic and I'm not going to put stock in that. I feel like kids goes with that for me too. I just feel like I was made in a lab to be a parent. Like I'm like church camp counselor vibes. Like I'm just like, it just has felt like it would be effortless, but I was just very curious for you two as like politically active people who are like critical thinkers. Like, was there stuff that came up, like pushback that was external or maybe more importantly internal around having kids? Because I think my partner had to like travel a little bit to get there. I think she was very concerned with like literally the world ending and apocalypse coming, us giving birth, and like what kind of world are we leaving this kid?
Say.
I Ebony thought about that. I actually was a little bit more delusional about it, I guess.
I feel the same.
I think that's my Sagittarius, where I'm like,
it was all the loans and
I'm
like,
like, I grew up as a Black kid in the 90s and now an adult. Like I'm okay. We're doing it. Like we're okay. Like, what if we just birthed like Nat Turner? Like I just, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm thinking about. Like
Nat Turner mama probably was like from heaven, like my baby did that.
My baby did that. Like, what if we just created the next like major revolutionary like move?
Right.
Like that's where I was coming from. Is like the possibility, the space that we create. I have non-consensually parented so many people, right? Like I'm the oldest sibling. Okay, I'm the oldest daughter. So all of my siblings to this day relate to me like a third parent. So I really want to, and then my exes, we could talk about that on a different podcast episode.
That's a whole
other thing where I really wanted the opportunity to consensually parent on my terms, right? And to actually opt in to doing it, right? And having the time to actually think about it was such a blessing, but I was so clear, like, this is something that I want to do because I've never been able to do it the way that I want to do it. And I know that we create a home that's special and that's honoring of humans and our emotions. And I didn't grow up like that. Like my dad and my mom, they were fantastic parents to the best of their ability, and they did not come without fault. Like we were yelled at for having emotions. We were yelled at for asking questions. We were yelled at for resisting, right? And I don't want to create a space like that for adult human beings or smaller human beings. And I felt like it was such an opportunity for Ebony and I to foster like life in that way. It felt like a necessary opportunity. And I'm like, I have to do it with you. I'm sorry, I changed my mind. You have to do it with me.
You said you're gonna have this baby.
You're gonna have this.
Very much so that.
It's a declining birth rate. Declining.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I feel, Allie, like your partner did. Very much so like, well, shit, I got to go get me a gun. You know, that was really, I promise to God, that was my thought.
He still feels that way.
Like, where I'm like, oh shit, I have to become a gun owner, you know, because I have to protect this baby. And I'm being serious I'm serious about that.
Yeah.
You know, because, and I think all queer and trans people, we need to go and up our firearm ownership. Now, the only reason why I'm saying that is because, I mean, not that a firearm is going to necessarily keep you safe. It doesn't. I don't subscribe to that. However, yes, the world is the world, but then I started to realize the thing that poses the most threats are ideological. It's the things that I would be concerned about once they start going to school, and you can't be there with them, and you don't know what they're going to be taught. You don't know what kind of people they're going to live with. Are they going to be bullied? What kind of kids is? What kind of friends are they going to have? Those are the things that start to scare me more, because the things in the world, the apocalyptic nature of the world, is only apocalyptic because of the people in it. And those motherfuckers have kids too. So it's kind of like your child will be born into the world with the rest of the children who are also being born into the world.
And the dominant ideologies that are just so strong.
Down.
Like, yeah.
And they
totally.
pass them down to the children who will be your child classmates or friends or whatever. And so just like we grew up. So I think the bigger thing that I had to get over, like the more internal thing, was like biological essentialism. And Ericka helped me with that a lot because Ericka was like, because I'm like, well, the baby connect with me. Well, we feel bonded together. You know, I'm not their biological father. Look. And then Ericka had to remind me, she's like, Ebony, you were not raised. Because I was like, well, I was brought up in a single parent household. And Ericka was like, you were not born in no single parent household. And I was like, actually, I wasn't. My aunt lived with us. My mom and my aunt have lived together their entire lives. From the time they were children to now, my mom and aunt lived together. And my aunt helped raise me, my brother, and my sister. So my aunt is like my mom. She is like my second mom.
She is.
And we absolutely relate to, all of us in the house relate to my aunt as my second mom. My cousin, her son is like my brother. Essentially, he grew up in the house with us as well. So so again, I didn't have that colonial sort of thoughts about a nuclear family structure. I started to adopt that later through biological essentialism, through this process of having a child and being like, oh, they're not going to be, will they know that I'm their father? And it's like,
Totally.
kids know the motherfucker who was there. They're not, you know what I'm saying? It's not, oh, your blood. No, I know who children remember who was there and who wasn't.
Who did skin to skin with them. The end.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. I feel like you're really trying to like detangle this like blood relation.
Yeah.
Dominant thing. I feel so similarly. Yeah, not being like, am I not blood related to this kid? And I'm like, wow, this is the whole point of the project of being queer and of expanding and having it be like really abundant. And so I'm like, yeah, maybe my kid won't get that right away. I just have to have this kind of long vision about it and be like,
Yeah. Allie, it reminds me, we just did an interview with my friend Cass, who has like the sweetest baby. I think she's still under a year old, but like she just calls everybody who's in the house Dada. Like everything is Dada. The dog is Dada. Like this parent is Dada. The sibling is Dada. So I'm like, if you're around, like you're gonna be Dada regardless. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like everybody is Dada. Like it doesn't matter.
And I think this speaks to so many things, but Western society depends so much on biology, and there's literally nothing like confirmed in biology. Like biology is unbound, right? It is constantly changing. It's constantly moving, but colonialism has convinced us that it's fixed, and it's not. Like a lot of people don't like their parents. Like, just because you're blood related does not mean that there's going to be some instant connection. A lot of people don't like their siblings, and that's fine. Like, those are relationships. Those are different people. You cultivate those relationships or not, right? So you have an intention of cultivating that relationship. That child is absolutely going to relate to you as however it is as you want to be related to. And it's also scary because they begin to relate to people in lots of different ways because they're just literally sponges, like sometimes they relate to folks in ways that we don't want them to relate to people, right? But they will absolutely relate to you as however you want to be seen. Regardless, it's that biology is just not, we rely too heavily on it. We give it way too much space.
Absolutely.
Totally.
And it's what you mentioned, Allie, about queer and trans people. That's how we've had family and relationships since the beginning of time. It hasn't been, especially for Black queer people, a house ballroom. Like, those are families. You know what I'm saying? Those houses are just families. There are mothers, there are fathers, there are people who take care of you, and that's how you relate to them. That's my caretaker. That's my neighbor.
Yes. Which is so crazy that you can be excommunicated by your blood family.
Okay.
That cares so much about their family crest, and they're on Ancestry.com because your mom's retired or whatever. I'm just like, there's an obsession with no substance going on over there, and what I'm up to is going to be from the heart. Like, I'm very,
And you won't have to teach your kids that. You will not have to teach them that. They just grow like Babette. Dada.
I don't think he said mommy until he was like 1.5. He said dada constantly. And he still does every morning. Like, he doesn't wake up to crying. He's never really he's never woke up crying. He always wakes up talking. So he'll wake up and be like, dada.
It's like, Ebony, that's you. Get up, Ebony.
Your turn. He wants you. I don't know.
You said it's a fair amount of mama.
Yeah.
These things we just have to unlearn. It's
Yes.
just a lot of unlearn. I think that's the challenge of children. They force everybody around them to unlearn.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of times we want to do things differently. We just want to biological sexual is just easy.
It
Like,
is.
I don't if I'm somebody bio parent, I feel like I could just treat them whatever way that I
Yep.
want to. I don't actually have to get to know them, ask them what they need,
Yep.
show them love. I'm your mom. I'm
Yep.
your dad. It's like,
Right.
no, fuck that.
Yep.
I'm a human being and so are you. We need to get to know one another, whether we are in a family or not. I'm your sister. I'm your brother. What the fuck that mean?
Right.
Right.
You know, it's like, what that mean? What that's supposed to mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
Damn.
Allie, when I think about your baby, I get like teary eyed. I'm like,
Aw.
so overwhelmed. I'm just like,
I don't know if you.
It's the best.
Yeah.
We found out that we're having a boy. You
Yeah.
know, it's so funny to be like, and our whole project is non-binary. I reject gender.
Yeah,
When we
child.
found that out, I'm like, we were in like a cold sweat panic. It's just like
The
you're
same
gonna
thing.
inherit patriarchy. Like what?
Ericka are having a same experience.
This is very affirming because we waited, and I mean this is no exaggeration, but I had a very, very hard birth. It was not life or death, but damn near, and essentially. And I'm on the table. They did the C-section. Baby is out. I'm waiting for a cry. I hear the cry. My heart. I can now breathe. Exhale, but then I inhale because I'm like, wait a minute. What's the gender?
Oh, because you waited the whole.
waited.
Oh my
Well,
god.
I know.
Ebony knew. So Ebony was like,
Wow.
boy, babe, you didn't know? Boy? I'm like, what?
Yeah, I said assignment at birth.
Exactly.
Like,
I said assignment
boy.
at
Oh
birth.
my
a
god.
boy.
A boy until proven innocent.
Okay.
right.
That part.
Well, that's what we kind of when we
All
was in the
gender
hospital.
analysis gone.
Gone.
We were in the hospital. What was going on when he was first born? In the hospital, it was just so much.
Oh, they had Black Mama pins. They had pronoun pins. We used
wow.
he, they pronouns for East, and he was in the NICU for 31 days. So they were really going through it. They were like, "What's the What's the what do I say? What? See?" I just fucking say East. Like,
I'm like,
Right.
this child can't even barely, drink milk on their own.
Yeah.
I don't know
already
what they
freaking
gender
out.
is.
they're literally.
Yeah.
Totally.
They're literally in an incubator. Like, who cares? They can't hear you. Like,
Like,
if you say she, they whatever. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's been hard. The people's
Yeah.
the patriarchy gonna come from everybody else. It won't come from
it's
us.
not coming from them.
It's gonna be in the store where people talking about, oh, hey, handsome, like shit, like
Yeah.
that. You know.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
It's
they
a-
ask
I
all
love
people. Other people ask all the time. Oh, Ebony and I have not talked about gender with East like at all. Like we read.
We were
books
just going to
and stuff.
ask.
Oh yeah, we don't. I said this to him the other day. I'm like, I haven't said boy, girl. Like we go to the playground all the time.
Mm-mm.
We watch Miss Rachel, Elmo, whatever, Lion King. Like East does not know that Nyla is a girl. Nala, what's her name? Nala does not know that Simba is a boy. It's Simba. Like we just don't talk about any of that stuff.
We don't say son or nothing like
yeah,
that. One day was like, do you relate to each of your son? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so because
Yeah.
I just keep saying my child. I don't at the doctor.
Yeah.
I say my baby. I
Yeah,
don't say son. It just is weird.
yeah. It was my
Yeah.
proudest moment when he put my shoes on and took my purse and walked to the door. I said, "Oh, thank you, God."
Right. Thank God.
I said, "We're doing something. We're either doing
Yep.
something or all kids play dress up. I don't know. I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
I think it's us.
Oh my god. Wow. Do you guys, if you feel comfortable, do you want to walk us through kind of how you ended up getting pregnant or what
yeah.
went into those thoughts? It's like 1,000,001 choices
Yeah.
that never stop, and each
yeah.
one you could spend a year thinking
Yeah.
about.
How much time do you have?
Yeah, exactly.
Do the quick and dirty, babe.
Okay, quick and dirty. I'll try. One thing I'll say is that I think it's important for people to know, queer and trans people who are trying to get pregnant, is that you need to start 6 months to a year out. And honestly, this is for anybody who's trying to get pregnant, because getting pregnant is a 25% chance. Right, a lot of people are like
on the best,
for everybody, right? 25% chance. We are all literal miracles that we are here. So getting your body prepared is super important. So taking your vitamins, prenatal vitamins, whatever, CoQ10, whatever it is that you need to take for your body, vitamin D, lowering your stress levels as much as possible, going to acupuncture, moving your body, being intentional. I love popcorn. I can eat an entire pot of popcorn. I had to ease up on that shit. Corn is not good for you. Like, all of these things I learned. I'm telling you this as I learned it in retrospect. Now, I started to lose my shit. I threw away all of our Teflon pans. I threw away all plastic. I put everything in glass.
Glass.
Like, I was spiraling, but it gave me peace of mind. So I feel like whatever gives you peace of mind, do it. And I say all this to say, I thought when you get sperm, you go to the midwife and get knocked up, the end. And it is so much more red tape to jump through. So at first we were going to use a known donor. And even using a known donor, you have to get the sperm like washed and frozen unless you're going to freeze it yourself at home, which is you can do. But we didn't know how to do that. And we were just like, we'll take it to the clinic. And they also measure the motility of the sperm.
Totally.
So,
And they put it all the way into your cervix.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to try. Like, it's the probability skyrockets
goes higher.
with that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that had a lot of red tape. So I would say if you're going the route of using a clinic with known sperm, know that they put you through a lot. So that was a lot. We did not use known sperm. We actually ended up using unknown sperm. And I wanted to inseminate at home. And we used a midwife, and they came over, and I always had the image of Bet and Tina when they inseminated with the turkey baster and all the candles around, and it was really beautiful. I think they had sex afterwards or something. I just this, Ebony, this is what I need. Okay, so this is what's gonna happen. This midwife came over at, 10 a.m. because it's her schedule, right? 10 a.m. I lit candles anyway. Lit candles. She did not have childcare. Her 3-year-old sat in the corner of our bedroom. I'm literally wearing lingerie. Because
I told you not to do all that, man. I told you.
And then she's like, she's so wonderful. Nothing bothers her, of course, because she's a midwife. She's so calm, and she's like, "Okay, Dad, you're gonna like warm up the sperm." And Eb is sitting there like putting it back and forth in his hands because you have to make it warm or room temperature because it's frozen. And then she inseminates, and then afterwards she was like, "Oh, was the sperm washed?" And I was like, "What? Like, what are you saying?" So whenever you do IUI, which is what we were doing, intrauterine insemination, the sperm has to be pre-washed because the vaginal canal actually washes sperm. In the process, it removes anything that could harm your uterus. So once it gets to your uterus and fallopian tubes, it's already gone through all these processes, right? The vagina is a self-cleaning oven. It cleans the sperm too. So without going through the vagina and the cervix, it needs to be pre-washed. This sperm wasn't washed. So Ebony literally had to go from Brooklyn all the way to the Upper East Side to do another insemination to get another set of sperm washed, bring it back in the center of his chest to keep it.
They told me to put it on my chest.
To keep it warm. And then I had to take an Uber to the midwife's house and like essentially put my legs in the air. So inseminate before that sperm died.
She had hella toys all over the floor. It's a
It was outrageous. And we did not get pregnant that time. So we actually did IUI 3 times, right, babe?
Mm-hmm.
4 times. And then the 3 times did not work. And then the 4th time, what
is that? I forgot.
The trigger shot. Yeah, we did the trigger shot. We were throwing a pride party. and we did the trigger shot. We went upstairs, did a trigger shot. And then the day after Pride, we went to a clinic. And I was like, look, if it happens, it happens. We were on the verge of paying $40,000 for IVF. Because we were like, if this doesn't work, then maybe we need to do IVF and we need to figure out money. We're literally have pieces of paper crunching numbers to figure this out. And I said, okay, let's just do it. And for the first time ever, that IUI was not painful. Every single time it was painful. But this IUI was at a clinic, not a midwife, was with an OBGYN. And she was like, okay, done. And I was like, huh? And we were just in there laughing. Like, it was just easy peasy. And that time I got pregnant.
Oh,
yeah, totally.
And it was an easy breezy pregnancy. Like, it was totally fine up until my 8th month, when my hands started to swell. I started to feel kind of like lethargic. I just felt uncomfortable all the time. And I wasn't really voicing that. And the gag about entrepreneurs, which we are, is that there is no maternity, paternity leave. So we're working around the clock to make sure that we have all the money to be able to rest for, 6 months or maybe even a month. And we're just working a lot. And I think the combination of stress and whatever goes on with the sperm that they're talking about could potentially cause preeclampsia, I had to be going to early labor. So I delivered at 36 weeks. 36 weeks? Yes, 36 weeks. And even at that time, I had been, been pregnant for almost a year. I didn't feel like anything was wrong. Like, I'm telling you, I felt uncomfortable in retrospect. But in that time, I felt fine. But now I'm like, oh, you did not feel fine. But I woke up one morning and we were upstate New York, and my whole face was swollen. And I was like, this is strange. And I actually went on Instagram and I did like the ice face bath thing. And I was like, this is so interesting that my face is swollen. New symptom. Like, I literally drove from upstate New York all the way back to Brooklyn. I felt like I felt fine. I also went to the doctor, and the doctor took my blood pressure manually. And she was like, I don't like how high your blood pressure is. And I was like, seems okay. Maybe there's something wrong with the manual blood pressure thing. Then the next morning, I had an oncology appointment. You got to do all your appointments all at once. My oncologist was like, your breasts are fine. I need you to go to the ER. Like, I need you to go have this baby right now, or call your midwife, whatever you're doing. You will not leave here until you tell me you're going to an ER. So now I'm freaking out. So I went all the way to the East Village, where the East again, where one of my best friends had her baby, both of her babies actually. And I knew that hospital. So I just said, okay, I'll go there. And then when I walk in, they take my blood pressure. Nurses love to talk about blood pressure. They'll always announce it. They'll say it's good or bad. They love that. Right. These nurses, there was 3, they said nothing. They just started to wheel me upstairs. And by the time I got up to labor and delivery, they told me it was 176 over like 110.
Something.
Yeah. So and then even at that point, I was like, okay, I still don't want to give birth today. Like, do I say
denial?
No, she was. She called me.
Control.
Yeah. You're like, this is not happening. What are you talking about?
I'm like, I'm not giving birth in a hospital. I'm going to give birth at home. Like, this is.
She really believed that up until.
Yeah, this is not the plan. And they, measured my belly and saw that East was transverse, which is across the belly. So that meant that I couldn't deliver vaginally because he's not going to turn in the time that we need him to turn. And I just went somewhere else. I just started talking. My mom is deceased, so I just started talking to my mom and talking to my great grandma and talking to whoever ancestors I could connect with, because I was like, I can't be here right now. Like, I need something else. And Ebony was like such a rock. Like, he just was like, here we go, next step. And I don't know, my midwife lives in Virginia. Allegedly, she got to New York in 15 minutes. I don't know how that happened. She was literally on the phone and then sitting right in front of me. It was fascinating. But then that day at 7-Eleven, we gave birth to East, and he was 4 pounds. 4 pounds. 4 pounds, yeah. Uh-huh.
4 pounds.
4 pounds, very long, and already like Aquarius ripping out the nose tube and trying to break out of the incubator, and and I couldn't see East for 2 days because
you had that magnesium.
I had the magnesium, and magnesium you can't touch a little baby when you have the magnesium. So that's something that I haven't fully processed yet, is that I wasn't able to actually touch my child when they were born. That was really, really hard. I so wasn't present because birth is so traumatic that it didn't even hit me that my child was not in the room. Like, I just was like, what? I felt like I had been hit by a truck. Like, it just did not make any sense at all. But yeah, that's the short and dirty. There's more. That's the story.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much. I'm taking this like child development class online right now because I'm also just like, I need to know more. I have like a control around information, I feel like. But there's so many traumas. And I'm like, I'm really trying to like kind of reorient myself, because I think my parents raised me in this very like, we are trying to avoid trauma, and when it happens, we're sad about it, versus being like, trauma just that is part of life. And it's kind of how we respond to it and like repair and are curious about it and keep talking about it, versus like burying it and being like, that didn't happen or something like that.
No, that didn't. We don't talk about it, right?
We don't talk about it.
Yeah. But birth is traumatic.
It's
like,
traumatic.
even if it like goes well, you're like,
traumatic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, so crazy.
It's wild.
My mom still talks about like not being able to bring me home for like a week as like the hardest thing that she has ever been through. Like and I'm like, I'm 26, and she's still like, that was the hardest thing I've ever gone through in my life.
I say it's gonna be Ericka and Eastwood.
I say to East all the time, it's like, you really put me through it, so I have
like,
to lay down. Right, like, leave me alone. I'm still healing. Like,
totally.
It was intense. 31 days. I don't wish the NICU on anybody. I even 3 days, like, it's too much. It's too much.
Wow.
So, Ericka, I know you're an educator, and we've been talking a lot on the pod about like, you know, education and how like your education can really inform how you might want to do things differently for your kids, for example. And I'm curious how you both are kind of approaching and thinking about like education, like for East. Like,
I mean, we're both educators, so that's something that we care about a lot. East is just in daycare right now, but East has come home with a Thanksgiving coloring paper. He's come home with a George Washington coloring paper.
Damn.
Even no shade to Ireland, but even like Irish Day, like, I don't want to see none of that stuff.
Right? No.
Like, and we had to talk to them like, we're getting all of this white colonial content that we don't want our kid around, but also, where is the black stuff? Like, where is Martin Luther King coloring sheet? Like, I know that there's one, Harriet Tubman, it has to be.
Absolutely.
And they had them dressed up as pilgrims, right up.
They still do that? That's crazy.
With the hat, with the buckle, the capitan, I think it's called.
Insane.
The hat with the buckle and shit. We was like, no. So we wrote an email.
Absolutely not.
We wrote an email. So I have always come from the standpoint that I'm just going to take matters into my own hands, because even if one thing that we're clear on is it will be a public school that he goes to, and it will hopefully be a predominantly black school, because as a survivor of predominantly white institutions, I'm just not going to do that to my kid.
No.
It was just, it was horrible. So I just feel like as educators, we are just going to be supplementing constantly what he's learning in school. And that so he understands history and doesn't have to wait to get to college to learn about James Baldwin or Audre Lorde, right? Like, no. Or that colonialism is a thing. I feel like I didn't know what colonialism truly was until I was like a sophomore in undergrad.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So I want him to understand the world in the truth about the world. And I'm sure he's not going to learn about queer and trans people in a lot of these schools, regardless of who is president. So I just feel like we're constantly going to be teaching him at home.
And we teach him through the experiences. He has family members and is around queer and trans people. Those are his TTs and uncles and everything else. So he is having a already very strong learning experience now. And East, during Black History Month, East can put his fist in the air. East knows how to say black power. East says black power. He put a little fist in the air.
He says love wins.
He went and picked up the pride flag that was in Ericka plant flag.
Because
Picked it up.
to a toddler, it's a rainbow.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Meanwhile, it's like, please be gay, please be gay, please be gay.
Please be gay.
Well, thank you guys so much. This was so
course.
fun. I
Oh
really
my God,
enjoyed
this
it.
was so fun. This just
Ellie,
really
you're
was.
gonna be great.
Oh, thank you. I'm really excited.
Great.
You're gonna be amazing.
You got this. The hardest part about parenting is the reparenting of yourself in the moment. It is the hardest part. And let me tell you, cherish the baby time. Cherish it.
That's what I heard. All my friends were like, it goes by so fast.
I didn't believe it until now. I'm looking at a 2-year-old who is arguing with me about everything. Okay? So you got this. You got this.
Yeah, my friend just had a kid and he was like, we're really trying to savor this time, like where she's like laughing with us. And he's like, in 6 years, she's going to be saying, you guys are so stupid. And in another 6 years, she's going to be saying it under her breath.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh my
Absolutely.
And shameless plug, Hood Rat to Head Rat. That's our little podcast.
Yes.
So y'all can check us out on all the different platforms, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes. Holler at us.
Cool.
So much fun.
Thank y'all so much. It's like,
Oh,
Thank you guys.
Thank
This
you.
was so fun. Thank you so much to Eric and Ebony. You can keep up with them on Ericka's Instagram, which is at @iHeartEricka, and the heart is spelled HART. And you can listen to their podcast, Hood Rap to Head Rap, wherever you like to listen. We've linked all of this in the show notes.
Gender Spiral is an original podcast from Audiation. This episode was mixed by Matt Noble. Theme music by Chanel Kirchlow, remixed by Daria Lord. Additional music is by Command Jasmine, courtesy of Molten Heart. Art by Joey Hahn, and graphics by Michael Tyrone Delaney. This show is executive produced by Ireland Meacham, myself, Allie Beardsley, my co-host Babette Thomas, and Sandy Smollins, with additional story editing by Susie Armitage.
You can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/genderspiralpodcast to support us, and you can get these exclusive bonus episodes every other week, plus gifts from us like monthly postcards. You can also check us out at genderspiralpod.com, where you'll find transcripts for each episode and a link to leave us a little voicemail. We also officially have a new merch store up, so if you've been fiending for a little camel and orange Gender Spiral number, you can now order that online at genderspiralpod.com/merch.
Audiation.